what an amazing day this is. I am so thrilled. I am beyond excited to present to you guys my next guest within our Conversations in the Mirror. Listen, he is a singer, songwriter, producer. This man single-handedly is responsible for millions, hundreds of millions of streams internationally and of course nationally. He's written hit records for the likes of Jennifer Lopez, Biggie, Usher, Faith Evans, and I can go on and on and on. He is from East New York. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you proudly and with so much gratitude, Jack Knight.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just hearing that all of that art and all of that stuff I worked on to this day, I can't believe it myself. But thank you. Appreciate being here and just kind of, reaching out, talking to the people, of course, about my past, about my history, but also, what I'm doing now as well. And I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're going to get into all of that. I'm so glad you mentioned your past and also your future. Hey, today's March 9th. And what I do is give Biggie a moment of silence and then we'll proceed. Is that cool?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Moment of silence for Big, the great notorious B.I.G. Let us proceed.
Yes. It's funny. It's interesting. I didn't know. Well, I knew he was going to be talking, but in terms of Big and being March 9th, that plaque that I have in back of me in my room here is a song I did with Big. It's called Old Thing Back. Wow. And it's a hook I wrote, and on it, Ja Rule's on it, Ralph Tresvant's on it from New Edition. I'm on it doing the backgrounds and stuff. But that record did so good for me. I mean, it was on Big's Biggie Duets album, which of course came out after he passed away, which is Big doing a bunch of duets with different rappers. And it was on that album. People liked it, but later on it got remixed by Matoma. Matoma remixed it, and it sold 4 million copies. So Big is still blessing and doing his thing from the heavens. You know what I mean? And that's one of my favorite plaques, and I put it right here in my office, my room. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. So Jack, you had an opportunity to work with Biggie. I know you're from East New York. Tell me exactly. I believe you're from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, Brooklyn, New York, East New York. Well, most of the times, East New York doesn't really get recognized because, for all these years, it was just like a place you don't want to go to, or you don't want to be proud of coming from because of all the crime and stuff like that. So, we're in Brooklyn, but we're far off in Brooklyn, more so towards Coney Island, kind of midway in that area, Brownsville, like places where Mike Tyson came from, Riddick Bowe, Shannon Briggs, different boxes. Maxwell came from East New York as well, myself. But I always was East New York, Brooklyn, and then it was also Virginia. My grandparents lived in Virginia. So I would spend time in East New York, Brooklyn, and I would also spend my summers in Virginia. And eventually I moved to Virginia. But definitely, Big's from Brooklyn. Me and Big use the same studio. There's a studio in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn, called Funky Slice. So I'd be coming in, he'd be going out. I'd be going out, he'd be coming in, him and his crew. And we never really kicked it, but I remember him from that time. And it's interesting that fast forward, rest in peace, I joined the Bad Boy writing team the fall of March. When he passed away the spring of March 1997. So, yeah.
Wow, amazing. What an amazing story. Jack, tell me, growing up in Brooklyn, tell me what were some of the adversities that you had to overcome to move forward towards your pursuit in music?
I think it's interesting. It's the same adversities that you face, in corporate America, in life, in relationships, just trying to do the right thing. It's the same. It seems like it's the people, they repeat in different forms, in different energy forms. And, you know, you always had to get past the big boys. The big boys were always standing on the corner. At 3 o'clock, they standing outside. You know, they didn't like school and they try to get you to get into different things. So you had, you know, that was a major obstacle to overcome, because you want to be like the big boys. You know, you want to go through that rites of passage and be liked by people in the hood, you know, by girls and stuff like that. So, you know, just the mind state of a young Black male in East New York, Brooklyn, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old at that time, for some of us was like, you know, it's like a rite of passage was actually robbing somebody, taking somebody's stuff that wasn't yours, and possibly hurting the person, yourself getting hurt, a shot, because you never know who's carrying what. And your whole psyche was to do that and go buy some Carl KNZY, go buy some Gucci, you know what I'm saying? Go to Dapper Dan, you know. And looking back at it now, you know, I understand the kids in Brooklyn and Chicago and different places because their brains are not developed. So it took me a long time to get through that whole process and really hone in on my gift of music, because I knew I loved music and I knew I had a gift. So I really started just focusing on that, getting better and better with melody, with songwriting. Started off rapping at first. And after I started rapping and focusing on my music, then you start getting the attention of people in the neighborhood.
Wow.
You know, some of the people in my neighborhood was Buffy from Fat Boys. It's a group called Fat Boys. Yeah. And he was one of the members that did the beatbox.
Wow.
And what people didn't know is that Buffy also was a music producer, and he was a writer. He was really talented. He was a big dude, but he was talented. So he was one of the first people that took me under his wing and just showed me that I had it. I had something.
Yeah. Jack, I hear you say, I knew I loved music. I knew I had a gift. What came first for you? Was it the discovery of you, or was it the discovery of music?
Wow, that's a good question. I think the first thing was this. I want to say it was a discovery of me. I think it was a discovery of me, and I say that because I think I had like kind of a chameleon nature. I noticed that, and I know whatever I put my mind to, I could master that thing, or get really good at it. You know, whether it was, you know, early on, whether it was karate, whether it was boxing, whether it was track, whatever it was, football, whatever it was, I knew when I put my mind to and I practiced that I was able to get good out of it. So I discovered that I had a certain ability of persistence and not giving up. And even if I wasn't as skillful in something as somebody else, I knew my persistence and not giving up and working hard could make me good as or better than that person. But everything doesn't work the same. But with music, I knew I had a notch above other people. I could sing a little bit. I could rap a little bit. I could beatbox. I can dance a little bit. So I had a strange epiphany. I said, hey, if I put my all into this music, I might really can do something.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was definitely, you know, I love music, but I also love entrepreneurship. I love a lot of things, but I think discovering myself and discovering I want to be better than my circumstances and kind of rise up out of my condition.
Yeah. Growing up in Brooklyn, you know, growing up in East New York, you know, overcoming some of those adversities that you spoke about earlier. Has music healed some of the experiences you may have experienced when you were in your youth?
I think music, you know, a lot of people in my community, in the Black community, you know, we can't afford therapists. Mm-hmm. You know, you might be able to go once or twice, you know, but spending $180, $200 an hour, first of all, is a lot of money out your budget. If you got to do a copay. And then also a lot of the therapists, especially during my time, they wasn't the same color as me. They didn't come from where I come from. They didn't come from a single mother household. They didn't deal with the obstacles. And, you know, so it was hard, I think, for me to get therapy for anyone growing up during that time. So I think music was an outlet, was a healer, you was able to express yourself. And by expressing yourself through your art, you was able to heal yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, it's almost like PTSD when I see some of the younger brothers when they rapping about all the crime and stuff going on in the community and talking about it. One thing is talking about it, one thing is doing it yourself. But I always get PTSD because I'm like, you know, I always wanted to make music that wasn't about my environment in that way. Like, you know, I grew up in New York, is a melting pot. You got Puerto Ricans living on this block, Dominicans living on that block, Asians living on that block. You got even Jewish people who are left over in the community living on that block. Indian, Arab, African. You got a whole melting pot. Haitian, Caribbean, everybody from Caribbean, you know, Jamaican, all living in a few houses over of each other. So you walking, you bound to hear soca, you bound to hear reggae, you bound to hear merengue, bachata, Indian music. So you're hearing all these different mixes of music going on. So I think for me, you know, I wasn't able to express that early in my career, but that's something that's going into, you know, where I'm going, you know, future wise with my music. But I definitely got exposed to a lot of different things.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Emotions and our feelings can sometimes be overwhelming. As songwriters, how can we overcome the trauma from a moment, but still find a way to converse the moment in song?
Yeah, I think that's I think it's, you know, and really it's like I had a theory, and it's almost like your song in a hypocritical way demands conflict. In a sense, it demands conflict. And it's almost like the song, it sets up scenarios and situations so it could be born. And it's a deep thing. It's almost like a child picking their parents before they come into the earth. It's like, you know, I'm gonna pick that's my father, that's gonna be my mother, and I'm gonna get them together and I'm gonna be born. And I think a song kind of has a life energy to it, where it has you meet someone, it has you have a good time, and you have great experiences, and then you have that dark time when there's a parting, and then you see the song. It's like the song almost gets excited because, you know, it's like it's this conflict, and it gives it opportunity to be born. And it's like, you know, my friends always know, like, if I'm going through something in a relationship or stuff like that, they know, they turn that beat on, they know I'm gonna spit something crazy because I'm going through something. And all of my songs, when I was going through something, and when the producer simultaneously was going through something, those two things, when they match up, wow, that's when a hit comes. Because when people hear it, they hear themselves. They hear like, wow, I just went through this, or I feel this way. So the song, you know, it's interesting. It's almost like, you know, you have to take a break sometimes from writing, especially if you're in a good space, because all you'll write is happy, good love songs. And sometimes, you know, people don't want to hear that all the time. They want to hear conflict. You know, I think Mary J. Blige is good at that. Keisha Cole is good at that. I think a lot of blues artists, that's what Black people love, the blues. And so sometimes you don't want to feel bluesy all the time. You got to chill out. But, you know, the relationships, the songs, they work together hand in hand.
Wow. Jack, is the Jack Knight of today the superhero to the Jack Knight of yesterday?
Wow. 100%. 100%. There's some old writing that speaks about the crown of life. And it's like I crowned myself with the crown of life these last year or two. And I look back at my life, and not just as a songwriter, but as a grandson, as a son, as an uncle, as a cousin, as a father, you know. And it's like, you know, I definitely wanted to be where I'm at now. And this kind of being at this piece where I was able to do everything that a person's supposed to do, you know, in terms of, you know, whether it's taking care of the elderly. I took care of my granddad until his dying day. Took a break from music for a little while. 2014 to 2019, 2018. My daughters, took care of them from teenagers into adulthood. They came and moved with me. Had 2 new sons. Financially, was able to balance myself financially enough, listening to the OGs, listening to my accountants, monitoring my finances. And I think I'm at a space where I think all of those things are going to come together in a special way for me. And I definitely feel like, you know, kind of superhero-ish, you know, stuff like that. And I don't think, sometimes you think, what could I have changed? You know, I don't think I would have changed really anything in my journey. I think everything was meant for a reason, and I learned from everything, and I moved on.
Yeah. Wow. I wasn't aware that you were present during the transition of your grandfather, you said.
Yes.
Yeah. So my condolences and prayers to the family.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. You know, but you know, when he's Pat, but I told my grandfather, and you know, it's a time, you know, you can't bring guests to the house and to the studio and to make music. You know, this, you know, it's because a lot going on. So when you have someone sick at home, and I know a lot of people go through it, and some people, you know, choose the option of nursing homes and stuff like that. But I didn't choose that option. But one thing I told my grandfather, I said, you know, you completed my cycle. You took care of me. You cleaned me up when I was a baby. And now I get the special opportunity to clean you up. And you know, because when our parents get older, they become babies again. And they wear diapers. And you got to clean them up. You got to feed them. You got to make sure they don't choke. And I was happy to have the opportunity to do that for someone who did it for me. And it felt as fulfilling as getting a platinum record. It felt as fulfilling as seeing a superstar sing your song. It was a feeling, or even more, doing that.
You know, Jack, I really don't believe in ironic conversations in the mirror. What I decided to do was I wanted to use my voice in a different way. Not saying that I'm just hanging up the ability to record and write records and to perform, but I wanted to use my voice in a different way. And the last 2 years for me have been very difficult. Last 3 years, my father actually transitioned 2019, just before the pandemic.
Wow, condolences. Condolences.
Thank you. I took a break from music as well. And so just hearing your testimony and just hearing what you have incorporated into your daily life and in your records and into your sound. Wow. I wasn't even aware of it. So conversations in the mirror, you know, I wanted to call the people I had a connection with, because in music and in business and in entrepreneurship, you know, I humbly see a little bit of me and the people that I want to connect with. So conversations in the mirror, you know, that's what that's all about, you know.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that title.
Yeah.
I love what what you're doing, and I'm in full support. I always loved you as an artist and just your focus and stuff like that. So, you know, anything I can share, you know, with your fans and with your people, and anything that can be a mirror that they can see in me and see in themselves, you know, I'm fully for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Let's get to the music, Jack.
Yeah, let's get to it.
In the hit record Last Night, performed by Keisha Cole and P. Diddy, you wrote, "Last night, I couldn't even get an answer. I tried to call, but my pride wouldn't let me down." Tell me what inspired those lyrics.
It's interesting. I was early on in my career. I was writing and producing, but I was also an artist. And I was with a label which was fairly new at the time, called Universal Records, in 1996, 1997, a fairly new label. And I had the first international platinum hit of that label. And the song was called Touch It. And it was by an artist named Monifa. Monifa was an artist. She was signed to Heavy D at Uptown. And she was more sultry R&B, but I always seen her like, you know, like most men seen her sexual. It was something, she had a nice sexy vibe to her. So when her project or her album started, they asked me, you know, do I want to do a record? And I said, sure. And I want to make a record basically on how I seen her. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I came up with Touch It. And there was a young lady there that was always there at the label. You know, I ain't gonna say her name and like that. You know, she's married and stuff like that and children. But me and her became real tight. But we never got a chance to. I was moving around a lot, back and forth to Virginia. I was on tour, Monifo, and doing different things. We never got a chance to really be in a relationship. And later on, you know, later on in life, I say around 2000, 2005, 2000, something around that time, I reconnected with her again. And I was like, yo, this is the opportunity for us to kind of see what we can do. She lived in Harlem. And, you know, we moved in together for a little while. She had a daughter, I had a daughter. And, you know, one thing she did tell me, she said, listen, my only rule is that when a man cheats on me, that's it. I don't go back. I don't go sideways. Once I find out, that's it. And I'm going to do my thing. So I was like, okay, no problem, whatever. So I wound up, you know, maybe a year too later, getting caught up with someone that I was working with. You know, mostly that happens when you're a producer, you're working with a new artist and all that energy, and something happened. And she found out and she did exactly what she's told me. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't answering the phone no more. And who knows what else? Because, you know, she told me how she rolls, or what she, you know, what her rules for her relationships were. And man, that night I was calling her, like I think probably minimum 100 times. Left crazy messages. And then finally, Mario Winans came in with this beat. He said that Puff had approved. Or my man Slam came in with this beat and said Puff had approved this beat. It kind of had some Lynn drums, remind me of Prince, Purple Rain. Really all the Prince songs had them drums in it. And he put that beat on, and I was so angry. I didn't know if I could write anything. And as soon as that beat dropped, I just was like, oh, last night, couldn't even get an answer.
Wow.
Tried to call, but my pride wouldn't let me down. So that was boom.
Wow.
And I just went in the booth and I just freestyled it. There was no writing or nothing like that. I freestyled it. Me and Slam finished it off together because he was Diddy's production coordinator at the time. He wasn't really writing that much, but that was one of the first records he wrote. And he wrote it with me. And it just was off of that energy from that relationship. And it was real. And when people hear it over the years, I see why they connect to it so much, because it was a real situation. It was a real heartbreak. It was a real something failed again that you wanted to work. And you know, you always have those situations, the one that got away. You know what I mean? And that was, I think, in my life, if I had to pick someone or something, that was the one that got away. And it became a song, and it became huge, and it made a lot of money, and it changed a lot of people's lives, but it didn't come from the best circumstances.
Wow. Wow. You took your lemons and you made lemonade.
Huh?
You took your lemons and you made lemonade.
Yes, I made lemonade with a lemonade stand, but I wasn't happy selling lemonade. I wasn't happy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
On your latest record, Someone to Love, you go there vocally. I mean, your vocal range, I was like, you know, Jack is singing on this record.
Yeah.
Tell me where you pull that emotion from.
I think that emotion, in all honesty, it comes from someone pushing me. Normally, if people know me, I don't sing like that. You know what I mean? But it was inside of me. All these years to sing at that level of emotion was inside of me. It was just no one there to push me. And prior to that, there was another song that I sung on. Little Kim had an album. I think I forgot the name of the album, but it was an album. There's a song called Chronic with a K. It's me, Little Kim, and Snoop Dogg on the song.
Little Kim, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, and Little Kim had me in the studio, and she's like, "Sing! I want you to sing, Jack, the ad libs, like, you know." And I'm singing, and she just like, "No, I want you to sing it." And man, she had me in that booth for about maybe 4 or 5 hours trying to get it, and she got it out of me. When she got it out of me, She taped it. And what you hear on that song, The Chronic, Little Kim and Snoop Dogg, I don't know if I'm credited as a feature, but you hear me on the song, you hear me saying my name, because she made me say my name. And that's the same thing what happened with my song, Someone to Love. The producers, my man Ehud Caldez and Boris Musicchuk, they some Jewish brothers, super talented. And he was like, Jack, you gotta give it one more time, Jack, one more time. I said, man, I just sung. He said, no, man, I'm telling you. And man, that was a long session, but line by line, word by word, verse by verse, he got that out of me. And I knew that lyrically, the melody and the octave I was singing in, I think people would connect to it. And I tried it out just to see. I did a little studio performance in the studio on my iPhone, and I posted it. And when I posted it, everybody, people I haven't spoke to since public school, people who, even though I had a string of hit records and I produced big records, they never reached out to me. They never said anything in my DM. They never reposted anything. But it's like the whole universe, well, at least my universe, responded. And it was over hundreds of comments. It was just crazy. So at that point, I knew I had to put that song out and kind of pursue not only writing and producing and being behind the scenes. I had to pursue just being myself as a creative, as an artist at that point. Open it up.
Yeah. I love that record.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
That record is amazing. The visual attached to it as well is amazing. And when I heard
the AI I did, yeah.
Oh, that's really.
Yeah, there's two videos that's out now. People can check it out. There's one video with me just on my iPhone in the studio here. The studio is really nice too as well. My man James, facility that I use a lot here in Orange County in California, beautiful studio. He allowed me to shoot it there. And I work from there a lot too as well. And also, so I have that one that's on the internet right now, Someone to Love. And then I also have an AI video that I put together that I show bits and pieces of for marketing, but it's AI, it's realistic human being cartoons, but it looks really, how it's done is really done nice. And it shows different scenes of people going into relationships, growing up, getting married, looking for each other. And it's a lot of people of color inside of that, in that AI video. So I'm going to release that probably within the next few days or week or so also, so people can have different versions to look at and experience the song.
Wow. Jack, I want to stay on that if I may. You've always been innovative in the tech space. I hear you're using AI right now for one of your visuals.
Yes.
Is it true you signed an international recording artist using social media?
Yes, Kitty. Yes, Kitty. Yep. Kitty is a young artist from Ghana that I discovered on the internet. I had a website, my website, Made in East New York, and what we was doing for creatives. We provided them with beats, we provided them with graphics, we provided them with visualizers, one-on-one consultations, different things. And somebody that was connected with him came and joined the site, and then eventually connected me with him. And what I started doing, I said, hey, I never had a artist signed before. I never had a label before. I usually work behind the scenes, but let me send you some music and see how we can vibe. Because I didn't really know much about him. And I started sending instrumentals or portions of a song, and he sent it right back the next day. Done. I never seen that before. I said, wow, this is crazy. And even though he had a Ghanaian accent, his English was really, really good. And his singing voice reminded me of Chris Brown or any young kid that's out. So I said, wow, he has a little accent, but he can really sing, kind of how Rihanna was. You can always hear her accent, but she can pretty much do any genre. And we did something called a memorandum of agreement, where I said, hey, listen, we're not gonna do no contract, but let's say we're gonna work together, and I'm gonna try to get you exposure internationally. Because one thing I I don't like to have nobody sign to me or promise nobody anything I can't do. And the music industry had changed a bunch since I've been involved in it. So I want to make sure what I had was good. And lo and behold, I played it for a few people. I raised a little bit of capital, and I said, hey man, I'm ready. And he had a song that he did called Say Cheese, him and his producer. And Say Cheese, I invested in Say Cheese and used everything I knew about the internet and marketing up until that point, along with one of my partners, Veronica, who was really a pioneer with TikTok marketing. And that was our first experiment. And we blew that song up. And after we blew that song up, that's when all the record labels came and stuff like that. And it was a good position to be in because we didn't have to sell our masters. We maintained a majority of the equity in the song. We licensed the song. We didn't sell them. So we still own all of that. And it was a good thing to invest in ourselves first and try it out and make it work. And then after that, that was it. We went viral a few more times.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Being a songwriter and writing hit records for the likes of Usher, Jennifer Lopez, Christina Aguilera, Faith Evans, Total, the Notorious B.I.G., and so many more. You've given so much of your gift and your talent to others artistically. Is now the time that Jack Knight is pouring back into himself with this latest project?
Yes, I think it's a time I'm able to sit down and really focus on, like you said, like kind of mirroring my what I've seen other people do and applying it to myself. And even prior to Diddy, I had of course, any mogul, anybody out at the time is gonna invest and pay attention to someone that's hot. So I was hot. I had Monifa, Touch It Out, that was platinum. I had worked on Chico DeBarge album with El DeBarge. That was platinum. I worked with Joe. I worked with a bunch of people. So to go into his writing team and stuff like that was like just joining the Bulls or joining the Lakers, so forth and so on. So basically, it was already a dynasty, and I lend my talents to the dynasty. I come, lay my reference vocals down, lay my ideas down, then I go back to Virginia, and one morning I turn the TV on. Any particular morning, I see the song out. I say, wow, look at Usher. Oh, wow, look at Total. I didn't even know that they was going to be on a song because I wasn't present with them in the studio. But I would lay my parts down. So I say, that was more like just being part of a championship franchise, like a So Def, like a Death Row, like a Cash Money, like a Motown. But with my music, I think my music is less to me. I wanted to do less sample-based music. I want to do music like Sade. I want to do music like Terrence Trent D'Arby, like Billy Joel, like Carole King, like James Taylor, like Eagles. I know some of these people, some of the kids may not have heard of them, but these are people, this is real songwriting, real instrumentation, and I feel real instrumentation and real songwriting, 10 years from now, my songs will still have legs. And still hear it, with instruments. You still hear Sade, you still feel how you felt 20, 25 years ago when you first heard her. So I think, yes, with my project, you're hearing more of me. You're hearing that Indian reference. You're hearing that, that Dominican vibe. You're hearing Cuban vibes. You're hearing soul music, classic R&B vibes. You're hearing reggae. You're hearing all the influences that I really grew up with that I wasn't really able to do when I was in that system. You're hearing things I'm able. What you're gonna hear is what I grew up listening to.
Wow. Jack, we don't have to go into detail. We don't have to be specific. In this current climate, what words, if any, do you have for Diddy? Jack, you still there?
you just gotta, for me, I think I didn't have the same experience as a lot of people had at Bad Boy in that organization. Because firstly, it first started with the publishing. He gave the publishing back. They say he gave the publishing back because in 30 years, it was about to be up anyway, and he had to give it back for legal reasons, and it wasn't worth anything. Which I couldn't say anything, but that wasn't true because I got my publishing back way before he gave everyone else their publishing back. Because I asked him, I said, hey, you're doing Sean John perfume, you're doing Ciroc, you got Sean John clothing, you got real estate assets, and all I have is the music, and that's not the space you're in at the moment. And we went back and forth, but eventually he let me go with my publishing. And then, later on, the portion that he owned, he gave that back to me. And if your publishing catalog is making, let's say, $100,000 a year, if you was to sell it, they give you a multiple of 9 or 10 or 13 or 14 years. So they times 14 years times 100,000, or 9 years or 10 years times 100,000. So it's worth something, and I know it's worth something because I did those deals. And you can sell it for $1 million or upwards to $1 million, and you can use it as seed money to invest in something that you want to do. So, business-wise, it was solid with me. In terms of working with Diddy, it was always, he was a great, I want to say, get money friend or work friend. There's some people, parents, they work at hospitals, they work at the VA, they work at the post office, they work at wherever. You don't see those people at weddings, you don't see those people at barbecues, you don't see those people at your baby shower, but they work with those people. So it was like, that's the relationship that we had and that we maintained. I clocked into the studio at 3. He may have came a little later, was at 6 p.m. walking in maybe with Naomi Campbell or Bruce Willis or whoever he was, whatever celebrity wanted to be around him at the time. And I'll be working on a record. He'd come in or whatever. I'll make the record, and then I go home. And that was a relationship. It was a great get money team, but it was, it was never, I never was in a circle where I went on vacations with him. I never went to industry parties, but God had a different purpose for me. And my purpose was to be a ghost or be a contributor in the machine. Yeah. And, just make the machine successful. And my success was able to give people jobs. People had jobs because of the records I made. People got jobs because the records needed videos. They needed directors. They needed assistant directors. They needed marketing people. They needed street teams. They needed somebody to work at the studio. They needed somebody to engineer, to master the record. So all the songs I did were not just internalized and personalized for Diddy's sake. They were songs that provided jobs to my people that couldn't get jobs no place else, that people wouldn't hire them no place else. And we was able to hire and have a human resource department that hired a lot of people of color. And I'm proud to say through my songs, that organization was able to flourish. I don't really care what no one else is doing, because the attention that I'm putting on what someone else is doing, or if someone is bisexual, or someone is gay, or someone did this, that same energy and tension I could be putting together my LLC, making sure my credit is good, figuring out where I'm going to buy my products or my shirts at in China, who's going to manufacture my hats and my glasses, what song I'm going to put out first. You know what I mean? All that energy could be used to be doing what I want to do. Now, if you're a person that loves entertainment, loves gossip, that's what fuels you, more power to you. But my thing is, I don't care what Diddy's doing. I don't care what Jermaine Dupri's doing. I don't care what Jay-Z's doing. I don't care what Kanye's doing. I don't care what Baby's doing in Cash Money. I'm focused on what I'm doing and what I can give the world. And that's currently where I'm at.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You, man.
Hey, Jack, what I want to do is move towards this game. I have this game, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out a word, and I want you to give me your most personal definition of the word.
Okay.
All
Let me get
right.
ready. Let me get ready. All right.
All right. What is your definition of God?
Of God?
Yes.
Okay. God. Frequency. I think frequency. My definition of God is frequency. I think there's a frequency, there's an energy, a super intelligent frequency that manifests into many shapes and forms and materials. But I think there's a frequency, there's a vibration. That's what I think of when I think of God.
Wow. With that being said, what is your definition of creativity?
My definition of creativity would be utilizing what's there to make something that's fresh and new. I think in the scrolls, in the scriptures, it says nothing is new under the sun. But I think there are things that are there that if you, with the right mixtures, you can put them together. And that in itself is a form of creativity, being able to take pieces of things and make something new.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like Thomas Edison and his team, I don't think they discovered light. I think they uncovered light, because light already existed millions of years, but they took different pieces of different things. I know a black brother was involved, Lewis Latimer, I believe, and some other people, and Tesla, and they took some things and put them together, and they made a form of light that everyone could use. Same thing with music. I think Stevie Wonder got things from certain people. I think Michael Jackson took things from James Brown and Charlie Chaplin. I think James Brown took things from different people. I think creativity to me is being able to source and take things from different places and make something new.
Wow, amazing. What is your definition of freedom?
Oh, wow. This is simple. Freedom is really, to me, getting up whenever you want to get up from sleeping. Like, to me, I think, I said for over, let me see, I'm 50 now. I don't mind telling my age because I'm aging backwards. But I would say for the last 35 years or so, outside of going to school, I've been able to get up anytime I want to get up. I can get up at 6 in the morning. I can get up at 12. I can get up at 9. I can sleep all day. I can sleep for a week if I want. And I think freedom, when you say freedom, I say sleep. I can say sleep. And I say, and I think that's being free. Like, taking my son to school or waking my daughter up for school, that's part of that freedom. To me, because that's something that's family. That's something that's nourishing. That's an experience that's going to last with me. So I say freedom to me is being able to do what you want to do and move how you want to move when you want to move. If you want to go on vacation, you can. If you don't have to. If you want to eat what you want to eat. If you want to eat at this restaurant, you can. If and money is not really an option. And you have, even if you're not super rich, you have enough where you can do what you want to do. And to me, that's a form of freedom. I can say creative freedom is what I'm experiencing now to add on to that freedom. Being able to make what I want to make, mix it, master it, put it out, and I need no one's permission but the public, like I did with Someone to Love. I did what I wanted to do, put it out, the public told me what they loved. It was no middle people. So that's a form of freedom I'm adding on to that other freedom, the sleep freedom.
I got one more for you.
Yes.
What is your definition of East New York?
East New York. Wow. I think East New York is like, it's like the Garden of Eden. It's like if someone gave me an opportunity and said, you're going to be born again, what location do you want to be born in? Do you want to be born in Russia? Do you want to be born in Germany? Do you want to be born in Arkansas, Chicago, Atlanta, DC, Virginia? Where do you want to come in to the earth at? And if I had to pick, I would say East New York again, because East New York, you got the New York name, but it's not New York. It's not Manhattan. It's not Brooklyn. It's its own place. It's a melting pot. And even though, to be honest with you and transparent, I wouldn't want my son, none of my sons or daughters, my daughters grew up, but my sons to grow up in East New York, because there's a lot of obstacles. You know, crackheads, people you've seen that were beautiful people in your community, they get hooked on drugs and it changes how they look, and they think they're begging you for money. Crime, you're seeing people, you know, I've seen several people get shot. Kids my age get shot right in front of me. We look over and look at them and say, wow, no life is there. And, you know, just people not taking care of their environment. Just, you know, whether it's the pissy staircases, the rats, and different things you see from time to time. Not all places in East New York was that way, but you see these things, experience these things, and I think they build character. They built my character to the point you can put me in the middle of the desert, put me any place, I'm gonna survive. And like, you know, once again, East New York, melting pot of culture, melting pot of different types of music. We had our own swag, our own way to dress, our own way to speak. We was close to the Italians, lived in Howard Beach and that area. So we was kind of on the borderline with Italian people. That's why we have that Brooklyn Italian accent and stuff like that. John Gotti's family lived real close by East New York. So, you know, we kind of stand up people. We stick by our word, but, you know, notorious place, creative place. And that's what I would say E&Y is. And that's why I always express in my record label, in my name, K, and, you know, I got the Jack Knight, I got the E&Y there too. And KNZY, Neezy, that's my nickname. So every place KNZY, E&Y, made in East New York, because that's a place that I don't want to forget. And that's a place that I want to pour into financially, musically. I'm working on a lot of things in the community there. And I feel that if everybody, every singer, every rapper, every entrepreneur, if we just focus on where we was raised at in our own communities, so much change can happen. If we all just focused on where we're from, you know what I'm saying? And not trying to save the world, but just trying to contribute to where we're from, the same way Nipsey Hussle was trying to do with his space. Rest in peace. And you know, if we can do it in a safe manner, I think, you know, that's my goal with East New York.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Jack, 10 years from now, who will the world say Jack Knight is?
Whew. Wow. I would say I would want the world to say who Jack Knight is, but I will first want my children and my family to have a say so in that too as well. Because that's, to me, that's what would matter the most. What my family, what my kids feel about me. You know, as a parent, as a mentor, doing what I said I was going to do and doing it, whatever that is. You know, it could be something as big as writing a song for myself, like Someone to Love, and having it go multi-platinum. Or it could be, you know, building a city, you know, contributing to building a city, a creative city that we build, you know, or creating cities on other planets, contributing to that, which is a possible, you know, having creativity, not leaving the creative people out of the big picture. And I would like people to say that I was an advocate for people who are creative, who may not be as great in math or great in physics, or wasn't doctors, they wasn't lawyers, they wasn't attorneys, but they were creative people. And I would love people to see me as a champion, or as a person that pushed America and pushed the world towards noticing and knowing the necessity of having creative energy and fuel on the planet. A person that was a champion for that. That's what I want to be seen as.
Wow. Jack, it has been a pleasure. Let me tell you, it has been an honor to sit and speak with you. My goal was to tap into your center. My goal was to tap into the genius behind the sound. And I am so glad you took the time to do just that. Thank you so very much.
Man, thank you so much. It was a great questions. I was never asked those questions before, and you know, kind of dug deep. And just thankful, man, that people are going to be able to hear a different side to me on your show. And once again, I want to say, think BIG, think big. March 9th, rest in peace, Big. We love you. My family loves you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay. And I'm here whenever, bro.
Thank you so much. Tell me where we can get the new record and the new merchandise.
Yeah, well, the merch is coming soon. I got my these are made in East New York hoodies, all good material. I got my we got these hats coming soon, the bucket caps. These are coming. You know what I mean?
I need the bucket. I need the hoodie.
Got the different colors.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? All
Yes,
fly.
sir.
You know, terry cloth, the finest, everything, just like my music's the finest material, terry cloth, nothing's shabby. You can wash it 100 times, it's gonna be okay. And that's coming soon. You know, right now we just building brand awareness. The music, you can catch me on YouTube, KNZY, ENY, or look up Jack Knight, KNZY, ENY, Neezy. On YouTube, hit me up on Instagram, KNZY, ENY, Facebook, TikTok. You know, these are initials right here. KNZY, put that in, you can see me. And eventually, you know, I want people to grow with me. I'm still building brand awareness, building myself as an artist. And, you know, all the hits are out there, but I want to make some hits, some new hits for myself.
Yeah. Jack, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.